Today, we're journeying into a place of profound stillness, a city built not from stone and mortar, but, well, from words. We're going to explore the Sleeping Well, an architecture of exhaustion. To really get what this place is all about, let's start with a powerful image from the source material. Picture this, a massive old music box. But the ballerina, she's stopped spinning. The tension in that spring has finally completely vanished, and all that's left is this heavy, peaceful silence. See, that image, that's our key. It's not about something being broken, it's about a final, quiet release. So where exactly are we headed? We're going to the city of Winding Down. Now, this isn't just any old place. It's the final stop, the ultimate destination in what the source calls the descent of the tired spirit. Think of this as your own personal guided tour, right into the heart of what's known as the long tiredness. So what's it actually like there? Well, the air is described as being thick with the soot of extinguished stars, what a phrase, and the smell of stagnant water. It's a place where all the energy of the universe hasn't just faded away, it's settled like a layer of dust on everything. You gotta understand, this isn't just a physical city, it's a state of mind, a psychic landscape of total, profound fatigue. But, even in this city of incredible stillness, you can still find these echoes of a much more frantic time. And that's our first stop. We're going to explore the very last gasps of striving, of ambition, right before they get snuffed out for good. Now, to really get what's going on, we need to talk about this key concept, Faustian striving. What is that? Well, it's that restless, almost obsessive ambition to achieve perfect knowledge or ultimate power. You know the type. It's a drive that, as the old stories always warn us, usually comes with a huge spiritual price tag. It's kind of the engine of human progress, right? But here, in this city, that engine is just sputtering out. Take our first character, the clocksmith. His shop is described as a cathedral of frantic ticking. This guy is completely obsessed with building a clock that's perfectly, absolutely accurate. It's this desperate, almost beautiful attempt to conquer time itself, a final act of defiance against the silence that's closing in all around him. Then you step outside, into the marketplace, and the contrast is just, wow. There's a crier still shouting about the Faustian Übermensch, the ultimate self-made hero, begging these lethargic citizens to strive for greatness. It feels like an old-world anthem being sung to an audience that's completely tuned out. And this is where our guide comes in, the central figure who's going to flip this entire reality on its head. So let's meet the soothsayer and listen to his gray truth. It's a total reinterpretation of everything we've just seen. The soothsayer, he looks at the clocksmith's work completely differently. He says those clocks, they're not bridges to the eternal. No, they're ledgers of the great evening that measure the creator's own exhaustion. That frantic ticking isn't a race against time. It's what he calls a will to distraction. It's just a noisy way to avoid looking into the abyss. And what about that crier's big speech, the call to build monuments to greatness? The soothsayer just waves it away. The earth, he says, isn't some monument. It's a waiting room that will eventually pull down all towers to serve as pillows for its long sleep. That's the philosophy of the great indifference in a nutshell. All that ambition, it's just temporary. So, what happens to people when they're crushed under the weight of this truth? They become what the text calls the last man. And this is a super important idea. It's the exhausted human who's given up on all those big dreams. All they want are tiny comforts, small greeds. They're not evil, not really. They're just done. And this entire philosophy, it all builds to this incredible, logical conclusion at the very edge of the city. We're heading to a place called the Staircase to Nowhere, to witness what the source calls the heroism of falling. So, right at the city's edge, there's this staircase, but it doesn't lead up to some glorious peak. Nope, it just leads to a sheer drop into the mist. This is the final stop for the city's seekers, the last few people who were still actually looking for something. And it's right here that the soothsayer teaches the city's final, ultimate lesson. He says, the true hero is not the one who climbs, but the one who allows himself to fall. It's about trading that fever of striving for the happiness of the grave. This act of surrender, this self-undergoing, is actually seen as the bravest thing you can do in this world. This whole spiritual journey is described as the metamorphoses in reverse. It's a downward spiral. It starts with the stillborn child, where innocence curdles into cynicism.
Then comes the caged lion, where freedom just becomes another source of dread. And it ends with the broken camel, where the spirit finally collapses under its own fatigue and becomes the last man.
But here's the thing, this whole human drama, it's not happening in a vacuum. Let's pull the camera way, way back to a cosmic scale and see what's called the gaze of indifference. This whole struggle is basically a spectacle, a war of parables being watched from on high.
Who's watching? From a rotunda of frozen smoke, we have the Infernal Council. And they're not tempting anyone, they're not punishing anyone. They are just watching. They basically represent that static, final, exhausted state that everyone in the sleeping well is slowly drifting toward.
And this cosmic observation takes the form of a war of parables, fought between two symbolic machines. On one side, you've got the golden owl, singing about the holy yes, the will to create and strive. And on the other side, you have the obsidian owl, whispering about the stillborn child, the bleak truth of exhaustion and futility.
So in this war, who wins? Well, the obsidian owl gets the final word, and its truth is simple and it's absolutely crushing. The peak and the pit are made of the same indifferent rock. From the perspective of the void, the highest achievement and the lowest failure, they're basically the same thing.
The soothsayer is the one who brings this huge cosmic truth right down to a human level. His final takeaway? The horizon is a circle. All those journeys of striving, of climbing and overcoming, they just lead you right back to where you started, the same indifferent earth.
So why is he even in this city? What's his purpose? He puts it very clearly. I go to tell the people that their dreams were right. The sun was a liar and the moon is the only honest witness. He's not there to fix them. He's there to validate their exhaustion, to tell them it's okay to stop reaching for the fiery, ambitious sun and instead accept the cold, reflected, honest light of the moon. And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? Back to that music box. If all that tension has finally vanished, if the frantic striving is really over, is the silence that's left a tragedy? Or is it just maybe a relief? That is the question the sleeping well leaves us to wrestle with.